Hi, Ann. This is Sully. Here we go with your first coaching feedback on your liftage. Now, you should be able to embed these videos. These are the YouTube links, right? And I'm just going to show you how to do that right now before we even go ahead. So, what we do is we'll just copy this link. We'll start a new post, and then if you go in to start a new post here, right, you'll see this little button up here, the toggle advanced editor, and you just hit that button to toggle the advanced editor, and there's your advanced editor right here. And if you go here where it gives you all these options to insert an image or insert a link, you'll see here insert video. So you just hit that and you paste your link in there and you say, okay, and then you can go and insert another one. And another. And another. And last one. And of course, you can add text to the post as well, right? So let's just go ahead and post that to your board now. Maybe. There we go. There they are. There's your videoage. All right. So let's go ahead and have a look. I'm going to take a look at your squat first because it's the squat, and that's kind of the cornerstone. Do you have 2 squat videos? Yes, an extra video of 2 squats. Okay, good. So let's take a look at this first one and go ahead and take a look at it on YouTube and break it down a little bit. The first thing I'm going to note is that this bar is a little bit high on your back. The other thing I'm going to note is I believe your thumbs are wrapped around the bar. And if it's at all possible, we'd prefer that you not do that. So I'm going to ask you to get the bar down here just underneath the lateral aspect of the scapular spine. So you're kind of in a high bar squat position here, and I need the bar right about there on your back. That being said, let's go ahead and have a look. Okay. All right. So what's happening here is the bar is getting out in front of the middle of the foot. Let's break this down a little bit more. Okay, what I need you to do is look down at the floor. You're looking straight forward, and that's going to interfere with your squat mechanics, which actually look like they're low bar, even though you're carrying the bar in a high bar position. I need you to drive your knees out a little bit harder. And here you are descending, butt is back, knees are out a little bit. You can point your toes out more and drive the knees out a little bit more. But you're kind of coming forward a little bit. And I can see that you're a little bit heavy on your toes as you approach the bottom. You're looking way up. You're not getting your depth, and you're too far forward. You've leaned too far forward for where this bar is on your back. If I were to drop a plumb line from the bar right here, I would find that the bar is well in front of the middle of your foot. All right. So this whole system needs to be back. Your center of mass is right about here, right? And I need it to be right about here. So you're leaning too far forward, especially given the position of the bar on your back. and you're not getting your depth. You can't get your depth with this kind of mechanic. And finally, no, this is harsh. This is the way it starts out for everybody. Your back's a little bit loose here, but what I'm really going to point out is if you were in the correct low bar position with the bar over the middle of the foot, what we want you to do is drive your hips straight up while maintaining this back angle, right? This might be an appropriate back angle if the bar was in the right place on your back. So from the bottom, we want you to drive those hips straight up. And you kind of start with that a little bit, but then the hips start to drive forward. Okay, so this is not a bad start, but there are a number of problems here, which are fortunately pretty easy to fix. Pretty easy to fix. Let's see what happened with the second set. So this is easier to see now. This is clearly a low bar position. The lateral aspect of your scapular spine is right about here. You can almost see it in this video, which means that this bar should be on this part of your back where the arrow is, right here, right? This is sitting up here on top of the traps. The bar should be sitting here, low on the back. And you definitely have your thumbs around the bar, which is not how we prefer to do it. Now, some people can't do it the other way, but you look like you're pretty mobile, actually. You should be able to get your thumbs over the top of the bar and seat the bar in the low bar position. Looking forward, look what's happening to your back at the bottom, right? You're going from excellent back extension here, but as you approach the bottom, there, back extension's pretty good, back extension's pretty good, but the bar is now getting way out in front of the middle of your foot because you're trying to squat the bar in the high bar position with low bar mechanics, and look what's happening to your back, right? You're getting into a little bit of lumbar flexion, and everything's sort of off balance. And kind of pulling your hips forward instead of driving them up because you have to, because that's the situation. Right? Kind of bowing forward. Your back is kind of rounding in the bottom. And that's something that we need to fix right away because that is not a sustainable thing. That's going to end up being unsafe with any appreciable amount of weight. So our first priority is to make sure that you're squatting safely and you don't get hurt. This is not a particularly safe back position that I'm seeing here, and you're not to depth. So we got a little bit of work to do with these squats. All right. Okay. So I know none of that's easy to listen to, but we're going to fix it all. We're going to fix all of it and get you squatting heavy. Let's take a look at your bench press. Put this on YouTube. Okay, first thing I would note is that your elbows are tucked in a little bit too much. And the reason for that is because your grip is too narrow, right? That's giving you a very narrow grip. And that means that your forearms are not quite vertical at the bottom. Your grip should be out at least another inch on each side so that your forearms are narrow at the bottom and that you've got an angle that's a little bit more like this for your humerus, keeping your elbows under the bar. So your grip should probably be right about there. That's about right where your grip should be. The middle of your grip should be right about there. If you think about this, you see this score in the knurling on the bench right here. It comes in here. You can think of this particular piece of knurling between this score and the center as sort of a bench press handle. And your hand should be probably right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of it. So that all being said, see, this is forcing you to touch the bar in a position that's too low down on your chest, right? You want to be touching the bar in the middle of your sternum. For most people, it's about right at the nipple line. You're touching low the nipple. That's too low. That's going to be a fairly eccentric bar. You can see it. You're locking it out in the right position, but you're touching it way too low on the top. This is way too low, right? So we need to widen that grip. And the bar, let's just go back. There you are. The bar should be touching you right about here on your chest. You're sort of touching it down here, right? So you want to touch the bar pretty much right on the nipple line here in the middle of the sternum. And you can do that with a wider grip if you keep your forearms vertical into the bar. So not a bad first attempt, but there's some things to fix there. Let's look at the press. Okay. Nice elbows up position for the clean. That's a little bit too much for the press. You can drop your elbows down. So just like with the bench, we kind of want a vertical forearm at the bottom of the press. Now, let's talk about a technical issue. If it's at all possible, I'd like you to do all of your videos in landscape view because it gives me a bigger picture. It gives me a more detail to work with. And you have no problems, whatever it is that you're mounting your camera on here, you're having no problems catching the whole body, which I need. So let's see if we can get the videos in landscape view. They're a lot more useful to me, allows me to see more detail. So first technical issue, your grip width might be a tiny bit wide. More to the point is you're very flexible in the shoulders. I'm going to be interested to see what happens with your clean because you're able to get your elbows up under the bar. That's good. But it's a little bit too much for the press. We want a vertical forearm under the press and not quite so much wrist extension. So this almost looks like a clean rack here. And that's not quite what we want for the press. Okay. Lockout is not too bad. Got photobomb there, and right. I think it's not quite locked out over your shoulders at the top. Not quite. You need to get in front of it just a little bit more. But the good news is you have really, really excellent shoulder mobility for your demographic, and that's just going to be huge for you going forward in training and in life. So that's the good news there. Nice top position. At the bottom, your knees are soft, right? So there's just a little bit, see, there's a little bit of push with your knee there. So one of the things that we're going to do is I'm going to give you some homework of stuff that I want you to watch in detail, in addition to the reading in starting strength. It's not a bad first attempt to press. At the top of the press, what I need you to do is shrug hard and push the barbell up as high as it will go, like you're never done shrugging that. That's starting out with the elbows way too far in front, which is kind of hilarious because most people I have to like scream at them to get them to put their elbows out in front. Yours are too far out in front, which is not a problem that I encounter very often. And again, it indicates that you have good shoulder mobility. But I want these forearms to be vertical underneath the bar. Elbows should be just barely in front of the bar. This is too much. And then there needs to be a good hard shrug at the top. That is the correct way to wrap it. All right, so there we go. Let's look at, we saw your squats, we saw your press, we saw your bench. Now it's time for the lift that is dead in nature. There we go. Once again, it would be more useful to have a landscape view. That's not bad, all right? You're not setting it up as carefully and systematically as I would like, and your hips are a little bit too low here. Let's see what happens. There you go. You sort of fixed it. Here's a good rule of thumb. For most people of most anthropometry, if your knee is sticking out in front of your elbow, it means your hips are a little bit too low. That's not always true, but it's usually true. All right. So you got your hips up a little bit more. You need to rotate your chest up, tighten and extend your back, and then drag the bar up your leg. The bar needs to be in contact with your legs all the way. Overall, though, this is the best technique I've seen for any of your lifts. But here, look what's happening here. Put the bar down, and you just sort of go again without really resetting your body position or getting tight. So in the starting strength system of exercises, what's going to be really important is to think of each rep as its own individual event. So between each rep, not just the deadlift, but between each rep of the deadlift, the squat, the press, the bench, you need to take a deep breath, get tight, reset your position, make sure everything's perfect, and then go, right? There's no rush for getting from rep to rep. You don't want to delay, you don't want to mess around because that presents its own problems. But you want to make sure that you're resetting your position. And for the deadlift, that means everything's tight, your back is fully extended, there's no slack in your wrists or elbows, right? So that there's no jerk on the bar when it comes off the floor. Keep the bar in contact with your legs. Now, this is an excellent top position for the deadlift. This is absolutely correct, your lockout position. This is absolutely correct, and this is a problem for a lot of people. So this is really good. Didn't require a lot of coaching to get you into didn't require any coaching to get you into that position. So that's excellent. That's going to save us time going forward. What I'm more interested in now is your setup. And I want to see a deliberate, systematic, careful setup for each rep. See how you're, look at this. You can see this, watch this. That you sort of like yank on the bar a little bit here. That's a yank, right? And you can hear the bar click as you pull it off the floor. A perfect deadlift is silent when it comes off the floor because all the tension has already been squeezed out of the entire system. It's just a basic fact of physics. If you yank on the bar yanks on you. Action, reaction. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you yank on the bar yanks on you. Now, this is 95 pounds, and you're going to get away with it. But when it gets to be 225 pounds, well, you just don't want a 225-pound bar to yank on you because you yanked on it. You want to squeeze the bar up, and to do that, you have to pay special attention to your setup. So once again, there's going to be some homework here. You're going to use that 4-step, 5-step really protocol. Bar over the middle of the foot, take your grip with straight elbows and straight knees. Step 3 is drop your shins to the bar, but keep your hips high. Step 4, without moving the bar, without lowering your hips, raise the chest and fully extend the back. And step 5, just drag the bar straight up your leg. You have to take the time to do that setup every single time, and that will result in a perfectly safe, tight, efficient, heavy deadlift every time. Keep watching. Yeah, these already look pretty good. There's just a little bit of work to do to get things fixed up so that they're perfectly safe and efficient going forward. Okay, so this is an excellent first workout. This is the kind of the kind of critique that everybody gets the first time through. It's why you're here. So we got stuff to fix, and we're just going to proceed to fix it. I'm going to post this video, and then I'm going to go out and get some other video that I want you to watch, and I want to make sure that you're reading the Starting Strength book. This is critical for all trainees, but especially for trainees that are working with us remotely, right? So remote coaching is always a little bit of a disadvantage, so you've got to really make sure that you're reading the book and really sort of encompassing the model in your mind. And then I'm going to post some videos that I need you to watch before your next training session. So this is a really good start. I'm going to go into Fitbot and I'm going to program some workouts for you, and we're going to get busy. Very nice first job. Pleasure watching you work, and I will talk to you again real soon. See you, man.